Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the mathematical analysis of Lenz rule. That means we are going to prove that Lenz rule is in accordance with law of conservation of energy. I hope you remember this last figure. This is the same figure which we did for deriving the motional EMF. And from this figure, we got the expression for the EMF as E is equal to BLV and induced current I is equal to BLV divided by R. And we got the direction also for the induced current. Now, this conductor PQ is moving towards left. It is actually a current carrying conductor moving in a magnetic field. We studied in chapter 4 that a current carrying conductor moving in a magnetic field experiences a force, and that force is given by BIL sin theta. So PQ is the current carrying conductor. It is moving in a magnetic field. So a force will be experienced which is given by F is equal to BIL sin theta. Theta is 90 degree and we know sin 90 is equal to 1. So F is equal to B. Instead of I, you can write BLV by R. So BLV by R into L. Therefore, the equation becomes F is equal to B square L square V by R. This is the expression for the force. Now, when I use Fleming's left hand rule, the direction of this force will be towards right. Look at my left hand. Middle finger will show the current. Forefinger will show the magnetic field. Thumb will show the force. So look how I am doing. I kept the point finger into the board and middle finger is downward, which shows the direction of the current, and thumb is towards right. That means a force will be experienced on the conductor which will act towards right. Due to this force, the conductor would slow down and stop. Am I correct? Because the force is opposite to the direction of velocity. So obviously the conductor will slow down and stop. In order to move this conductor with the same velocity, some work has to be done by the external agency. And power required to do that work is given by P is equal to force into velocity. We already got the expression for the force as B square L square V by R. So force into velocity. Therefore, we will get the answer as B square L square V square by R. This is the expression for the mechanical power applied by the external agency. So when I apply this mechanical power, this conductor PQ will move with a velocity V, same constant velocity V. And as a result, induced current will be formed. This induced current will circulate only in the loop PQRS. It cannot go out anywhere. The induced current will circulate around the loop PQRS. As a result, the entire induced current is dissipated as heat. So let us see how much power is dissipated as heat. So power dissipated as heat, I write PH. H for heat, power dissipated as heat, which can be given by I square into R. We already know the equation for I. It is BLV by R. So I square into R. So we get the answer as B square L square V square by R square into R. So this R square and R get cancelled, and our final expression will be PH is equal to B square L square V square by R. Look at these two expressions. The first expression is the mechanical power, which is B square L square V square by R. The second expression is power dissipated as heat when the current is formed, and that power is also B square L square V square by R. So from these two expressions, I can conclude that the mechanical power expended by the external agency is converted into electrical power, and finally it is converted into heat. So this proves that Lenz's rule is in accordance with law of conservation of energy. Okay. Now we are going to find the relationship between induced charge and the change in magnetic flux. Relation between induced charge and change in magnetic flux. It is written as d phi. We already know E is equal to d phi by dt, Faraday's second law. So I am writing like this: induced EMF E is equal to d phi by dt. Now induced current I is equal to E by R, and since E is equal to d phi by dt, I can write 1 by R into d phi by dt. We have studied in chapter 3 that current is the rate of flow of charges dq by dt. So we got two expressions: equation 1, which is I is equal to 1 by R into d phi by dt, and equation 2, I is equal to dq by dt. So you can equate 1 and 2. dq by dt is equal to 1 by R into d phi by dt. So dt and dt can be cancelled, and finally you will get dq is equal to d phi by R, or we can say d phi is phi 2 minus phi 1 divided by R. So from this expression, it is clear that the charge, the induced charge, depends only on the change in flux and the resistance. It does not depend on the time. Induced EMF we studied, it depends on the rate of change of flux, how much faster the flux changes. So induced EMF depends on the rate of change of flux, whereas induced charge depends only on the change of flux and not the rate of change of flux. Okay. Now our next topic is eddy current or Foucault current. Just now we studied when a metallic conductor is moving in a magnetic field, induced current will be formed in the conductor, and induced EMF is also formed in the conductor, and that EMF is called motional EMF. Instead of a thin conductor, I am keeping a metallic block Imagine a metallic block like this is moving in a magnetic field. So, different portion of the block will have a different rate of change of flux. What I mean is the rate of change of flux in each part of this metallic block is different. As a result, induced current will be formed at different portions of the loop, which will circulate within the metal block itself, and it looks like whirlpools on the surface of the water. You can see the figure. I have just drawn 2-3 circles, so it looks like whirlpools on the surface of the water. You will not only see like 2 or 3 loops. There are many loops. For example, one loop may be here, another loop may be here, another loop will be here. Like that, there will be many current loops all throughout the surface area of the conductor. That is why it is called eddy current. So the word eddies means it is like a whirlpool, current loops. Okay. So what is eddy current? The induced circulating current produced in a solid metal due to the change in the magnetic flux in the metal. Okay. Now, due to this eddy current, the eddy current is formed within the metal block itself. The current can't go anywhere. The current will simply circulate around the loop. As a result, what will happen? The conductor gets heated up and the energy will be wasted. So, due to eddy current, energy is wasted as heat. This problem comes in the case of transformer. We already studied in 10th standard. In transformer, the transformer is made up of a rectangular coil wound on a iron core. Iron core is the metal block. So eddy current will be formed in the iron core, which will heat up the transformer and it will lead to the wastage of electrical energy. And that's not all. If the heat will increase to an undesirable limit, then the insulating coating of the transformer will melt and it will lead to short circuit and the transformer will blast. So we have to reduce the eddy current. How can we do that? We can do laminated soft iron core. Instead of using a metal block, you slice the metal block into small sheets, laminate each metal sheet and make them closer together. That is called laminated iron core. Like you are taking a full bread and cut the bread into pieces and then keep all the pieces together to get the full bread. That is the same way we are doing here. Okay. So eddy current is undesirable. So we have to minimize the eddy current. It is minimized by using laminated iron core. Now let us see what are the practical applications of eddy current. The first application is induction furnace. Eddy currents are used for melting the metal, iron or etc. To make the molten iron, we put a raw iron in the furnace and give a strong varying electric current. And this metal is rotated in a magnetic field. So as the metal rotates faster and faster, eddy current will be produced in the metal, which will heat up the metal and finally it will melt. Number 2, the speedometer. In speedometer, eddy currents are used to measure the instantaneous speed of the vehicle. Usually in the bike and in scooters, we are using this type of speedometer. There is an aluminum drum which is fitted, which is within the front wheel, inside the front wheel. And as the wheel rotates, this aluminum drum also will rotate. A small magnet is kept inside it. So as the drum is revolving, what happens? The magnetic flux linked with that will change. And when the magnetic flux changes, eddy current will be formed. And to minimize the eddy current, the needle which is attached to the drum will also move along the direction of the rotation of the wheel. So how much that needle is moving, that much reading will be shown by the speedometer. Now deadbeat galvanometer. Eddy current are used to stop the damping of the coil in a shorter interval. Deadbeat galvanometer is the normal galvanometer which we use in the lamp, in our lamp. So when current passes through the coil, you studied moving coil galvanometer. A deflection will be produced, torque will act on it and deflection will be produced, and then the counter torque will come. In moving coil galvanometer we studied like this, counter torque will come, and when the torque and the counter torque are equal and opposite, then only the needle will stop. So actually in the actual practice, the needle will move to one direction, then counter torque will come, so needle will come to another direction, it will deflect like this, and finally it will stay in one position. Okay, so it will, the galvanometer needle will go oscillation like this and it will stop at one particular point, but that is undesirable. So actually in moving coil galvanometer current is formed, and you remember that a soft iron core is placed inside the galvanometer on which the coil is wound. So in that soft iron core, eddy current will be formed. The direction of eddy current is always in such a way that it opposes the motion. The direction of the eddy current is in such a way that it opposes the motion of the body, or it is in such a way that it opposes the change in flux. Okay, so the needle is moving towards one direction. It caused the eddy current. The eddy current will try to oppose the motion. As a result of eddy current, the needle will not oscillate. Instead, the needle will deflect like this and it will come to stop all of a sudden. That is why it is called deadbeat galvanometer. Now, electrical brakes in train. You know about fast moving trains like bullet trains. So how can they be stopped? They can be stopped only with electrical brakes. So what actually they do is, whenever they want to stop the train, they will pass a strong electric current on the wheels. So at that time, what happens is, the wheel is revolving and magnetic field will be provided on the rails. So the wheel is revolving in the magnetic field. As a result, eddy current is produced. So what will the eddy current do? Eddy current will try to oppose the motion of the wheel. As a result, the wheel will come to a stop all of a sudden. So think like this, wheel is revolving forward, wheel is rotating forward in the magnetic field. The magnetic field is produced at the bottom of the train with the help of a strongly varying current. So as the wheel rotates in that magnetic field, eddy current will be formed on the wheel. That will try to rotate the wheel in the backward direction. As a result, the train comes to stop all of a sudden. Okay, that's the application of electric brake. The same thing is applicable to energy meters also. That's all for this section. Thank you.